Hi-ho, folks, and welcome back to the adventures of Turwinkle, the Gnome Mage. Well, hi, Turwinkle.
Hello.
Are you all set for tonight?
Affirmative.
Well, great, because tonight we are outside of Ironforge. As you can see, it's a little chilly out, and we are going to go meet the guild called the Vanguard. It's an all-dwarf guild, and so this should be a lot of fun. And so without further ado, let us go and talk with the Vanguard. Alrighty, folks. Well, climbing up the hill here, and I think I see their banner, and indeed I do. Here they are, the Dwarven Vanguard. Oh, my mistake. I said Vanguard earlier. Alrighty. Well, let us... Whoop, almost got run over by that guard there. Oh, so there he is, the general of the Dwarven Vanguard. It's Thorson. Hello, sir.
Nice to meet you, Turwinkle.
It is lovely to meet you as well, and boy, what a great looking bunch you have here with you tonight.
Thank you very much. They put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, they look really great. And so let us meet who you've brought with you tonight, and I guess we'll start over on this end here.
Sounds like a plan. This is Hroth. He is a mountaineer with the Vanguard. He's been with us for a short time, but we love him dearly. This is Mim, otherwise known as Enrique. He's been a veteran of the Vanguard ever since it was created.
Oh, okay.
Born up front here. He plays a Frostborn. And just behind him is Gadrick, who is a Wildhammer. Then we've got Fargan up in front. Ares. Colgan, our Mountaineer captain. Bale, another veteran. Velma. Gimring, otherwise known as the only rogue in our guild.
Okay.
Emily, who is our infantry captain. And Vakos, who is our medical captain.
All right, and again, they all look just fantastic. Wonderful group here.
Yep, we have fairly stringent uniform policies that I don't let them get away with breaking.
All right.
And it really pays off.
Well, excellent, and we will get into more of that when we talk about the Dwarven Vanguard. So wonderful. So folks, we're going to head on in to the military ward, and we're going to find out what these folks are all about. So we will see you folks there. Well, here we are, folks, in the military ward in Ironforge. And again, a smart-looking formation here by the Dwarven Vanguard. And so, Thorson, how did you come up with the name the Dwarven Vanguard?
Well, the Dwarven Vanguard isn't actually a guild that I made. It's a guild I inherited. It's got a long-standing history. It's sort of a spiritual successor to the dwarf-only RP PvP guild, the Mountain Guard, which existed 3 years ago on this very server, and has sort of set the bar really high for dwarves in Moonguard.
Oh, wonderful. So do you know how the person that created the guild came up with the name?
I unfortunately wasn't there for that. I assume it probably had something to do with the fact that the Vanguard is always at the forefront of Ironforge's interests here and abroad. And overall, the Vanguard is it's supposed to be the representative of the United Dwarf clan.
Okay, well, great. And so, obviously, and I say obviously, sometimes I'm wrong, which is rare for Turwinkle, but every once in a while he is. But obviously, a military-style guild, sir?
That's very right. We are a military-style guild. We encourage both RP and PvP actively in both aspects. And we expect the best from our people in whatever they choose to do.
All right, and so would you consider it a heavy RP guild then?
We are.
All right, well, excellent. And you also do PvP then as well, is that what you're saying?
We do. I don't consider myself anything close to professional PvPer, but I have a blast playing with the people in this guild, and all I can promise is that I will give it my best.
All right, well, excellent. And so, folks, when we come back, we're going to find out what the history is, the RP history, that is, of the Dwarven Vanguard, and find out what that is all about. So we'll be right back with that. Alrighty, folks, and we had someone arrive, sir. So who is with us now?
This is Donald Enelad Brewfist. We just call him Nolan because it's a little bit easier. He is a Bronzebeard.
Okay. And so, sir, what is the history of the guild? What is your RP history?
Well, the Mountain Guard, as I said, came before us, but they were purely a Bronzebeard organization. They were founded by someone who supported Magni as king of Ironforge. And after Cataclysm came out, there was this whole big shift that came about in Dwarven politics where all three clans had to live together under one mountain. And that was problematic. For the leader of the Mountain Guard, it became so problematic that he ended up giving up his post. The Dwarven Vanguard was founded not as a relic of the past, but as the option for a new beginning for Ironforge. It's a multi-clan military organization. We do not discriminate based on whether or not you're Dark Iron or Wildhammer or even Frostborn. If you're a dwarf, you're welcome in the Vanguard.
Okay, and I think we did misspeak on Enrique's origins, did we not?
Yes. Yes, we rather did. That's my bad.
And so what is his origins?
Mim is a Bronzebeard.
Okay. All right, we just wanted to make sure we got that corrected. Now, how many folks do you have in your guild at the moment?
Well, we clean our roster regularly. We tend to keep it at around 100, just because if you're gone for a month or so, we remove you from the guild, not because we don't want you around, but because we don't want our guild to be full of level 1 alts who nobody ever got back to. So okay. A month is how long it takes before we remove you from the guild, and if you ever come back, you're welcome in, no questions asked besides, how are you?
Oh, great. And is that 100 original accounts, or does that include alts?
That includes alts. We have a level 20 requirement, regardless of whether or not it's an alt. We tend to let it slide if you've joined the guild before. But for the most part, if you're not level 20, our only request is that you blast out those last few levels and get there so that you can join up. Because it shows us that you're dedicated to the character enough to level him.
All right, and actually, folks, what we're going to talk about next is how you get into the guild. And so we'll go over all those requirements and whatnot. So we'll be right back with that. So we'll see you folks there. Alrighty, folks, and again, we want to make extra clear that we kind of still messed up there during the last segment. And the person that we had mistaken for a Wildhammer was Gadrigan. Not Enrique, it was Gadrigan, and Gadrigan is the Bronzebeard. He's not a Wildhammer, he's a Bronzebeard. So
damn straight.
So there we go. We got it all straight now. Excellent. Now, first and foremost, sir, say I have seen this episode and I want to join the guild. Who do I have to talk to?
Well, we have a large selection of very capable officers under my command. They are all perfectly qualified. I trust them entirely. They can get you through the interview process if I'm not around. What we require from interviewees is that they visit our website, which is www.dwarvenvanguard.com, sign up, And leave a message in the profile section just explaining your character so that we know beforehand if you're at all an experienced RPer, if you're at all an experienced PvPer, and why you're playing the game in general.
Okay, and so do you require people to be experienced role players?
We like experienced role players, but we do not require it. We require you to be able to put a capital letter at the start of a sentence and a period at the end of a sentence. That is just about all we need. We don't need authors, we just need basic writers.
Oh, okay, so if someone's, say, brand new to RP, you're willing to help teach them as long as, again, they have the basics down. Is that correct?
That's very true. I also love helping people come up with characters.
Oh, great. It's always nice to have a guild that's willing to help, especially the new RPers out. Now, again, we already mentioned that you got to be level 20. And do I have to be a dwarf?
You do, unfortunately. The Vanguard has always been a dwarf-only organization, just like the Mountain Guard before it. And though we've had a lot of requests to sort of ease those requirements, it's one of the very few things I will never budge on. The Vanguard is dwarf-only. I'm sorry, Turwinkle.
But Turwinkle's half dwarf. Would that count?
Unfortunately, we require full-blooded Ironforged citizenship and a beard that at least is as tall as you currently are, Turwinkle.
Oh, well, I am going to be the first to say that my beard's pretty fabulous, sir. So I think this should at least qualify me.
We'll keep you on the short list for honorary dwarves if the point ever comes up.
Okay. All right, perfect. Now, is there an age restriction into joining the guild?
We don't really have an age restriction as far as out of character goes, because we don't really think it's something we need to pry too much into. We are mature role players in that we understand what maturity means as a word. As long as you can act like an adult when we ask you to, we don't have an age requirement.
Right, and again, it's been said before that age isn't always an indication of maturity. So, excellent. Now, is there a class restriction in joining the guild?
Well, there's only one class that dwarves can't play, and that's druid. So I guess we restrict druids.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
All right, well, awesome. Now, do you require an in-character interview?
We do. Some basic questions are going to be asked. Mostly, who are you? Where do you come from? Why are you joining the Vanguard? Just basic RP questions like that. Most of it is in character, but we do have an out of character section to sort of let you know that we're interested, that you came to us.
All right, well, excellent. So, folks, when we come back, we are going to find out, now that Turwinkle has rolled up a dwarf and has made it into the guild, we're going to find out what happens next. So we'll be right back with that. Alrighty, Thorson. Turwinkle has rolled up a dwarf and has been accepted. He passed not only the out-of-character interview, but the in-character as well. And so now that I've joined the guild, where am I placed in as far as ranks is concerned?
Well, to start off with, you'll become a recruit. After that, you can work up through the ranks based on whether or not you attend events, RP or PvP related. Eventually, you may reach a bit of a rut, and that's because for some of the higher ranks, we require both a heavy dedication to RP and PvP. And if you prefer one over the other, it may be a little difficult for you to get the rank that you want. That said, if you have difficulties, we're always willing to help.
Alrighty, and so let's say I've made it past the rank of recruit. What happens next?
Well, once you reach recruit, you have to pick a division. We have 4 divisions available for you to pick. We have the Mountaineer division, which is for hunters, enhancement shamans, rogues, and windwalker monks. Just generally your scout classes, the classes that are going to be up front, up close and personal with the enemy at the very start of the battle. Then we've got the Sorcerer Division, which is represented here by Ares. And they are your spellcasting classes, Shadow Priests, Mages of all kinds, casting Shamans, and that's about it, really. We've got the Infantry Division, which is easily our most popular class. It's made up of every plate-wearing class. So Paladins, Death Knights, and Warriors all go into Infantry. And then finally, we've got the Medical Division. And that one is a little bit more restricted by spec. If you're a healer, generally you're going to go into the Medical Division, regardless of what class you're in.
All right, awesome. And so now that I've picked a division, what kind of guild rules do I have to follow being in the Dwarven Vanguard?
We really don't have many rules beyond basic etiquette. If you're not going to follow the golden rule, we don't really want you in the guild, but most people tend to have an easy time being friendly with us. And as long as you're friendly and willing to talk, we'd love to have you.
Now, based as a military guild, pretty much military rules apply then, is that correct?
On an in-character level, for the most part, yes, they do. I don't go around giving everybody orders on an out-of-character level because it's just a game. But on an in-character level, we are a military group, and Thorson is a general. He expects more than just a modicum of respect from his troops.
All right, well, great. And so, folks, when we come back, we're going to find out a little bit about each division from the division. Are they captains?
We've got division representatives here. We don't have all our captains here, but we have some people who are more than well versed enough to give you the lowdown.
Okay. And so when we come back, we will talk to those folks that are leading their divisions. So we'll be right back with more information about that. Alrighty, folks. Well, we have been introduced to the basics of what each rank is, but let's find out a little bit more about those ranks and what they do. And so starting with Colgan here. Colgan, can you explain to us what your division is?
Yes, I can. I am in charge of the Mountaineer Division, which is, on the website it says, we're the eyes and ears of the Vanguard. And we're the scouts, the intelligence. We make sure that any place that we do battle, any place that we have to go, we know the layout. We know what's there, for example.
Alrighty. Well, sounds great. And so next, we talk about the caster class. And what is that called, ma'am? What's that division called?
It's the Sorcerer's Squad.
Okay, and explain a little bit about what you guys do.
Well, the Sorcerer's Squad is a bit of a mixed bag. Our priority is the mages, the warlocks, and the shadow priests. But we also accept members who may be hybrids. Sometimes we might get an elemental shaman that's also an enhancement shaman. My character specific is a disciplined priest, but her primary is shadow magic. The sorcerer's primary role is mostly detecting magic and disenchanting or reading enchantments on items.
Oh, wonderful. And you have a wonderful Texan accent, ma'am.
It's Australian.
Oh, no. Yes, I that was Turwinkle's poor excuse of his edit jokes there. So, well, thank you, ma'am. And so next is the infantry division. And so, ma'am, kind of go into that a little bit for us.
Alright, imagine, if you will, a giant titanium wall with spikes on it, and a big meaty boulder is rolling towards that wall, and the spikes stab that big meaty boulder. We are the wall, and the enemy is that big meaty boulder. That is pretty much how the infantry rolls. We are the backbone of the Vanguard. We do everything that the rest of the Vanguard can't do.
Wow, okay. Awesome. And last but certainly not least, probably the folks that keep that wall standing is the healing class or division, sir. If you could talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I'm Vakos Stormchaser. I'm the captain of the medical unit. We are the quote-unquote spirit of the Vanguard. Our job is to make sure that while the casters, the mountaineers, and the infantry are off trying to kill things, that we stop them from dying. In terms of RP, that's kind of standing behind the battlefield, healing up our wounded soldiers, and in PvP, it's, I don't know, just spamming heals as much as we can. We try to keep our soldiers standing so that they can carry on and win the fight.
Well, excellent. So wonderful, and it's great to see how well organized the guild is as far as its ranks are concerned. And so, folks, when we come back, we're going to find out about what this guild does as far as guild events are concerned. And so we'll learn about that next. All right, Thorsten, so we're talking about guild events next. So what kind of guild events does the Dwarven Vanguard do?
Well, as I mentioned before, we're an RP PvP guild, so we have a pretty healthy mix of both RP and PvP. Moonguard has a lot of very active RP PvP guilds, and so we run events almost constantly across the entire server. The Vanguard is pretty much the premier dwarf guild on the server, so we usually make an appearance whenever possible.
Well, awesome. Do you folks have like weekly or monthly guild meetings at all?
We run RBGs Tuesdays and Thursdays to keep ourselves in PvP shape. As far as RP events go, we sort of run them whenever we can. The officers and the other members are always welcome to come to me about putting an event on the calendar and just to generally get whatever story they want to tell out. We have an eclectic mix of archaeological digs, fighting the Horde, fighting undead. We're actually headed up to Northrend currently, so we've got a pretty healthy mix of all three of those things.
All right, so that's what is actually the Dwarven Vanguard currently doing in their storyline?
Well, as I said, we're in Northrend. We've got a lot of RP events planned using the in-game rolling system, and then we've also got one or two PvP events that we've got planned with the Megabucks company. We're taking advantage of the large space that Northrend is and sort of the emptiness that it's become since Wrath stopped being a thing. It's a really nice place. We're keeping it small so we avoid the phasing that a lot of the larger server events have. And generally, it's very plot heavy, and we hope to have a great time.
Now, is there anything that you can share with the viewers as far as the storyline is concerned?
Well, I can tell you it involves goblins. Goblins who are working together with one or two Forsaken to do some very goblinish things regarding Serenite, which is the evil metal that's found up north.
Oh, I see. Now, are you coordinating any of that RP event with another, say, a Horde guild at all?
We are. The Megabucks company is going to sort of stand in as the goblin mooks that come in to defend the Horde operations going on in Northrend. We can't reveal too much of the plot because I haven't actually told the rest of these guys here much of the plot either, so I'd be spoiling it just as much for them as I would be for you.
Oh, okay. So the what were they called again? The Megabucks?
Megabucks company, which is a goblin-run guild on the other side.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds awesome. All right. So, folks, when we come back, we're going to do probably one of my favorite parts of guild interviews is we're going to talk to some of the people actually in the guild and find out what they enjoy about being in the Dwarven Vanguard. So we'll be right back with that. Alrighty, folks. Again, one of my favorite parts about interviewing a guild is finding out why people have chosen to join that particular guild. And so no exception here. And so first off the bat, we have Gadrigan, Dragoon of the Dwarven Vanguard. He is a Bronzebeard. He's a very unforgettable character here in the Dwarven Vanguard. And so, Gadrigan, what do you enjoy about being in the Dwarven Vanguard?
I enjoy all the wonderful people. It's a very welcoming guild. I've never had a dull moment, and I can't say I've really saw much drama to be had as well. So that's always nice.
Well, great. Yeah, it's always good to be in a guild that is pretty much drama-free, because nothing, I guess, ruins a guild worse than drama going on and that sort of thing. So that is an excellent answer, sir.
Like behind us.
That's
and behind us. You can't excuse it.
Sure, no, that's fine. Folks are questing and doing their thing. So great. So excellent answer, sir. Alrighty, folks. Up next is Velma Recruit of the Dwarven Vanguard, level 75 Dwarf Death Knight. And so we've asked Velma what she enjoys about being in the Dwarven Vanguard, and unfortunately she cannot use Vent at the moment, so Thorsten will read that for us. So go ahead, sir.
Velma says, the people of the guild and the roleplay. At my current level, I haven't had a chance to get into PvP just yet. But hey, when I do, I'm sure it'll be a blast. Of disturbingly morbid plague, and other such lovely things.
Okay. All right. Well, wonderful. Thank you very much, Velma. All right, folks. Up next is Belric, Ironguard of the Dwarven Vanguard. He's a level 90 dwarf warrior. And, sir, what do you enjoy about being in the Dwarven Vanguard?
Honestly, I'd have to say the camaraderie that comes with all the people in the guild. Everyone says that they enjoy being with the people and being around them, but there's actually quite a lot of great PvPers and RPers in this guild, and I've been with them since the guild was the Mountain Guard at first, so I've been around quite a while, and it's the people are great. The PvP comes often, and the RP comes even more, and it's just a great thing to be in.
That is a wonderful answer, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks. Up next is Eris, Ironguard of the Dwarven Vanguard. She's a level 90 dwarf priest. And, ma'am, what do you enjoy about being in the Dwarven Vanguard?
Well, to begin with, I first started joining in the Dwarven Vanguard when I just made this toon at level 40, and I thought it was just a rather tin pot role-playing guild for dwarfolds. And as I got into it, I discovered there was really excellent PvP events. The officers were always willing to help me out. Thorsten, for example, always helps people with their PvP dailies nearly every single day. We do great at rated battlegrounds, and all around it's just so much to do, so many different events. People run anything from training to survival missions. I myself have done a few sort of mini missions that were only an hour role-playing events, and we even do campaigns where we camp out in an area for months on end and do events exclusively there.
Well, that's great because, it's always fun to find a guild where not only do players help each other, but really the officers are really involved in making sure that everybody in the guild is getting the stuff that they want done within it. And so that's nice to hear. Now, another question that I have for you while I have you here is you rolled up a female dwarf. Now, as you know, that is the least rolled character in the game. What made you decide to roll a female dwarf?
Well, actually, when I first joined the game, one of my friends was actually playing a female dwarf priest on a PvP server with me, and I thought it was absolutely awesome. And every now and then I've rolled the odd female dwarf, but I've had a lot of trouble on PvP servers because people usually mock the character for being hideous or strange. But when I joined this role-playing server, things were a little bit different. People were more interested in the female dwarf characters and were willing to play and spend time with them. And our sort of developed from there, and I had room to grow.
Well, and I think with the upcoming expansion, that's all going to change as well, because I think the female dwarf model really is fantastic. So we'll probably see a lot more female dwarfs coming up in the expansion.
I have no doubt of that.
All right, well, excellent answers, ma'am. Thank you very much. Up next is Emily, captain of the Dwarven Vanguard, level 90 dwarf warrior. And so, Emily, what do you enjoy about being in the Dwarven Vanguard?
Well, what I enjoy about being in the Dwarven Vanguard kind of comes scenes with what I enjoy about role playing in general. It's not like wooden figures playing with toys. It's not like playing with rubber ducks in a bathtub. No, it's the real deal. You're actually out in that snowy field. Your boots stomping in the snow. You're out there in the blacksmith. You're actually using that hammer of yours to whack that sword as it's hitting its hot, and you're eating that vanilla pudding, and you're shining your shoes with that shoe polish. You're doing it all, and you're actually there. That's what I like, with a hint of tan applied to it.
All right, well, awesome answer. Thank you very much. Alrighty, folks. Up next is Boren, warband of the Dwarven Vanguard. He's a level 90 dwarf hunter. And so we have asked Boren, who doesn't have vent, but he's typed out an answer nicely nonetheless, about what he enjoys about being in the Dwarven Vanguard.
Bourne replied that his favorite thing about the Dwarven Vanguard is the RP events, especially the ones where he gets to go out there and beat people up.
Okay. It's always nice to be in a guild where they allow you to RP as you like. So oh, a wonderful answer. Thank you, Boren. All right, folks. We have the general himself of the Dwarven Vanguard, Thorson. And so Thorson, what do you enjoy about leading the Dwarven Vanguard?
Dwarves, as a race, have always been one of my favorite things in the entire world. My dad read me The Hobbit when I was 6, and it was the first sort of big chapter book that had ever been read to me. And it affected me in a way that no other book did. I've been trying to grow a beard ever since that day. Dwarves are my favorite race of any fantasy setting. So when I joined the Mountain Guard, 5 years ago, I knew that this would be a great fit for me. And as time went on, I got closer and closer to the top until at long last I was put in charge of this entire guild, and it was incredibly rewarding to be able to be put in charge of such a great group of our peers and a great group of friends.
Well, and I've said this in other guilds as well, but I think it remains true that you can always tell how well a guild's doing by how its members respond to the question of what do you enjoy about being in your guild. And I think it really shows, the leadership of that guild, again, is how the people are enjoying it. And from what I've seen tonight and the answer that we've received from folks is that they really enjoy it. And that, again, goes back to the leadership. And I think you're doing an excellent job here. And folks are really enjoying the work that you're putting in to leading this great guild. So kudos to you, sir. So folks, when we come back, we're going to give the floor back to Thorson, and we'll allow him to cover anything that we might have missed. So we'll find out what that is next. Alrighty, sir. So if we've missed anything during the interview, or whatever you'd like to add here, the floor is yours.
Well, the Vanguard is always recruiting. We're always looking for new beards and new talent. If you've got a dwarf that you don't know what to do with, if you've got a beard that you don't know where to put, bring it to the Vanguard, because we'd love to have them.
Well, that's easy enough, folks. Again, as Thorson said here, if you have a dwarf character or you want to roll a dwarf, do come and join these guys. These guys are fantastic. They're well organized and they hold tons of events, and so there's always something to do. And again, if you really want to get into the dwarf culture, this is the place to come. And so with that said, we're going to head off to the tavern, and we will see you folks there. Alrighty folks, well here we are at the tavern. Everyone's having a great time. And again, Turwinkle and I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking the patience and the time again tonight to answer all of his all of his pestering questions tonight. It has been just a great time talking with each and every one of you tonight.
Thank you so much for your time, Turwinkle. It's been a blast.
You bet. So folks, with that, we are going to see Turwinkle back at Chillwind Camp.
Vanguard, rally!
Wonderful.
Brilliant!
Alrighty folks, well we made it safe and sound back to Chillwind Camp after a fun night of drinking and having fun with the dwarves there in Ironforge in the tavern at the end. And so, Turwinkle, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Sure.
You bet. We had a great time, so let's give the Dwarven Vanguard a wonderful thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You bet. And so, folks, again, if you have a dwarf character that you just don't know what to do with, come and join the Dwarven Vanguard on the Moonguard server. And again, you are going to have the time of your life there. So folks, if you like this episode, click that like button. If you'd like to comment on this episode or on any of our previous episodes, please do so below. Let us know what you liked and let us know what you didn't. And finally, if you would like to subscribe, well, we would love to have you. And so hit that subscription button today. Well, Turwinkle, an excellent job, sir. Questions right on point. And Turwinkle, we will see you next time.
Farewell.
Farewell, Turwinkle. Farewell.